Hello there all my sparkly friends. My name's Sam and you're watching So Let's Sparkle with Sam. This is my channel all about sewing and sewing related things. I have a background in space science, hence the sparkle. And and I like to talk about anything fabric related, crafty, sewing. Just recently I've really got into dressmaking. So if you want to join me on my journey to a me-made wardrobe, then welcome along, and please like and subscribe so that you can see my future videos. So then let's start with what I am wearing. So it is very cold here today in Leamington Spa. In fact, it has been snowing most of the morning, and so I have got a ready to wear Marks and Spencer's polar neck underneath my me-made Vera top, and this is a free pattern. So if you're doing the Sew Frugal 23, then this is a free pattern, and it's made with this, look at me, animal print. I don't do animal print. I clearly do animal print. So yeah, I've done my Vera top, and I love the statement long cuffs. I have hacked it a little bit. If I just stand up, I'll show you. I have actually hacked. I've put a band on the bottom because I like to wear this for work, and I go up and down ladders, and I find if it doesn't have a band on the bottom, it rides up a little bit, and no one wants to see that. So so I've hacked a band on the bottom, and that makes it a nice wearable. And actually this would actually make a really good Sew Frugal entry, because I did kind of frugally use the fabric, if you like, because it was in the bucket at work. So if we get any fabric, I work in a fabric shop, if we get any fabric that's got any holes in or marks on that can't be used, then we are welcome to take it home and figure out something that we can do with it. And this actually had quite a few massive holes in it, but with some very careful cutting I managed to get the top out. So, and I think it's very nice, and I enjoy wearing it. So actually putting the polar neck underneath it made me think, so I am actually going to be taking part in Sew Frugal this year, and what I thought I would do is I would do a little hack. So I'm going to use the Forget Me Not Vera pattern, which you can get free of charge from Forget Me Not Patterns, and I think there's a few free patterns on Forget Me Not, so it's well worth going to have a look. I know some of you have probably seen this before. This is my first year of Sew Frugal, so I'm finding all of these out for the first time. It says an intermediate skill level. I consider myself a beginner, and I found it absolutely easy peasy, a-okay. The instructions were really good. Nice and simple. There are two cuff options, so you can have the smaller cuffs if you don't want these big cuffs. But what I find with these big cuffs is they're great if you want to wear a cardigan over the top, because sometimes with puffy sleeves you have problems getting things over the top, but because these long cuffs keep them kind of tight to your wrist, so it means that you can put other layers on without getting any cold bits. As I said, I'm thinking a lot about being cold today because it's snowing and it's so cold, so yeah, I'm thinking about keeping warm. So yes, so I'm going to be using this Vera knit top pattern, but I'm gonna hack it a bit, and I'm going to use another free resource to hack it. So I'm going to use a video that's been put up by the Dressmaker's Closet a few weeks ago now, and it's called the Easy DIY Turtleneck, and I'll pop it down in the link below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that tutorial that Jane's done, that's really simple, nice and easy to understand, to draft myself a turtleneck option for the Vera top. So instead of having this lovely V-neck, which I love, but I'm going to do one with a turtleneck instead of the V-neck. So I won't have to wear a ready-made top underneath it, and it'll still be nice and warm. Now I know we're going into the spring, and obviously the challenge is the 31st of March, and by then hopefully we might have a little bit of sunshine, but I don't know about you, I've always got a use for warmer clothes. I'm sometimes, even, we live in England, well, I live in England, I live in the UK. Even in the summer there's cooler days or cooler evenings, so it's always nice to have warm clothes to kind of, you know, get all cozy with. So the fabric, the challenge, part of the challenge, the fabric has to be from your stash, and I'll just grab mine over here. I've just got a bit of scrap because I've already started cutting the Vera top out, but it is little offcuts of this lovely viscose jersey that I bought a few months ago from So, and it's absolutely beautiful, so lovely and soft. I've already used it to make another top, but I had quite a bit left over, so with some very careful cutting I've managed to get the Vera top out of it. Now the great thing about the Vera top is that it's a very good one for scrap busting. So if you perhaps didn't have quite enough for these long cuffs, you could actually make the long cuffs out of a different colour jersey. And again, the same with the top. If you were doing a different band, you could use a different jersey. You could use the bottom band in a different jersey. Yeah, you can kind of go to town on it. And even, I think it would even work with a bit of colour blocking. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using for my So Frugal. Now hopefully I'm going to have a chance this week to sew that up, but I have popped it all in my little project bag, so it's all ready to go. If I don't have time to sew that up this week, because I am quite busy this week, then I'll take it next Thursday to Karen's little sew along, Karen at So Little Time, and I'll get it sewn up there because that'll be a nice thing to do. So I've still got plenty of time before the deadline of the 31st of March. So that's my main sewing plans for So Frugal. I am thinking I would like to make a few other things, but the problem is there's so many free patterns and there's so many wonderful, marvellous vlogs that I'm watching that every time I pick a pattern, I watch another vlog and then I change my mind. Anyone else, or just me? I just keep changing my mind. So I do want to make something else because I've got lots of fabric in my stash to use, but I haven't quite made up my mind on what pattern. So I'm going to keep that under my hat until I'm absolutely sure. But one thing I thought I'd ask you today is, I do want to make myself a top because I'm hoping to go to the Stitch Festival at the end of March. My husband has very kindly said that he will come with me and keep me company. Carry my bags. He's coming to carry my bags. But keep me company, which is, you know, very sweet of him. And so yeah, so I'm going to go to the Stitch Festival on the Sunday, and I'd quite like to make a top to wear there, and obviously me made, because I thought that'd be quite nice. And I've had in my stash for ages this gorgeous viscose starry fabric. It's like black with a yellow gold star. If I can get it made fairly quickly, I might do it as part of the So Yellow for Endo. I have already given my donation. I've already done a £5 donation to the So Yellow for Endo charity because I decided that I do really want to support them, but I didn't know whether I would have time to sew anything, and I didn't think it would matter if I donated and didn't join in. I think but I think it's a really important cause, so I have done my donation. But if I get enough time, then I would quite like to make something with this. My first feeling was to make the assembly line high cuff sweater top that I made before. I put a picture of one that I've already made. I do really like that top. It was really nice. I think it would work as with the woven and this nice soft drapey fabric. But there's part of me that thinks it would work nicer as a bit more of a kind of shirty type top. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen any free patterns yet on the vlogs for kind of an easy shirt, remembering I'm a beginner sewer, so I don't want to go anything too fancy schmancy on the shirt front. I'm not quite ready yet, but a simple shirt I think I could probably manage. So if anyone knows of any free shirt patterns, great, but even if they're not free, if they're kind of beginner friendly kind of patterns, I've got 1.5 meters of this, so it should be enough for a top for me. So yeah, so that's my kind of standby sewing as well, so I can get that done. That would be great. I never have just one project on. I'm not that kind of person, you know, 20 projects or none. That's how I work. So yes, so that's my dressmaking plans. The other thing that I have been working on a lot this week is, obviously it's Mother's Day coming up soon, and I'm really lucky. It's my mum's birthday on Mother's Day this year, so she gets double whammy treats. So it's, yeah, on the 19th of March it's my mum's birthday, and it is her birthday. So I'm hoping that I have got some bits and pieces, and I have popped them in. She lives in Spain, so they are already in the system, so hopefully she'll get those in plenty of time. I'm not going to show you what I've made my mum, because I know that my mum does watch these. Hi mum. And I don't want to spoil it, but I have made a few other bits and pieces for the shop. I sell my crafty wares in a little craft shop in Leamington Spa called Lots Bazaar, and I've made a few bits and pieces to go in there. So if you can see behind me, my sagebrush top is finished, but I had some scraps left over. So I've made some of these little key fobs, and I'll put a link below. There's a free tutorial on how to make these on Always Knitting and Sewing's website at the moment. The lovely Chloe does it. It's ever so simple, just a little bit of scrap. You can put wadding in them, you don't have to, you can just put whatever kind of scrap interfacing that you've got. Or on one of these, I didn't have wadding, I just put a little bit of felt in to give it a bit of structure. And then yeah, you've got these lovely little key fobs, which I think will make a nice little gift. And the sewing is so simple, so you could, a child with a little bit of help could easily make one of those for their mums. If you want something even simpler than that, with no kind of sew option, I've been doing some bag designs for some bag workshops that we've got coming up in Easter, and I had a lot of webbing left over, you know, the webbing that you use for the handles. So instead of just chucking it away, because it wasn't long enough for any more bag handles, I just used it and made these little fobs. And can you see, it's absolutely beautiful, this little kind of pale rainbow, if you like, webbing. And then I've just used these little fob connectors, and you just basically push them in with a pair of pliers. They're really easy to apply, and then just made these little key fobs. So yeah, so you've got obviously got a sewing version, or you can have a no sew version for those people that just want something uber quick. But a sewer or a crafter is always going to have a little bit of wet webbing or ribbing or something pretty trim left in their stash to use up. So it's a nice little kind of frugal project to do. The other thing that I've been making, those of you that have seen my makes before, I do love a bit of free motion embroidery on the sewing machine, and I don't get enough time to do as much free motion as I'd like to, but I have made some of these little coasters, and I've just free motioned mum on them, and then I've just appliqued a little heart. So basically they're just felt scraps, fabric. I think this is a little bit of Liberty scrap, and then really simple, nice simple projects for Mother's Day. And yeah, and as I said, I've made a few other bits and pieces as well, which you might be able to see behind me, and yeah, for Mother's Day. So that's what I've been up to. So that's about it for today. So I've got my sewing plans, and I've got my crafty plans. So let me know in the comments what your plans are for this week, and if you have got any ideas for a lovely shirt pattern for this beautiful starry fabric, I would love it if you let me know. So don't forget to pop a like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, happy sewing. Don't forget to sparkle.